podcast where you well, this is awkward. We don't know where Brad is.
all show and no go. Live is set up and nothing's happening.
All right. I don't know what's going on here.
Hopefully the old fella hasn't
But
died.
anyway, good afternoon, everybody. I don't know what's going on here, but we will
I'm back.
try and get
He's
this all
back.
sorted out. Hopefully. Hey?
I was trying to mute Timmy because Timmy's little kids are on there, and then I've accidentally hit the wrong button as he's come back in. But welcome to the post-Magic round, Teamless Tuesday, round 10. We're going to hit it. We're going to hit it hard today and go through all this rather quickly. That
Very
way
quickly.
my might not suffer too much. How are you, Roscoe?
Yeah, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. As you can tell, I still don't have much of a voice left from Magic Round, and to be honest with you, I still haven't had much sleep, and I'm absolutely exhausted. And I've probably come into one of our busiest weeks of the year for work as well, after having 3 weeks off. So I'm cooked already.
I'm back on the beers, buddy.
Good stuff, brother.
Oh, jeepers. Not even. I haven't even had a drink yet. So yeah. Yep.
All right. So Teamless Tuesday had just dropped for round 10. And our first game, the way we'll do this, I'll just go through the games and I'll let you boys comment.
Yep.
Basically, the back line for the Eels, this is the Eels versus the Dolphins. The back line is pretty much untouched for the Eels. The front row, Charlie Geimer, the cheapie everyone wanted at the beginning of the season, he retains his spot on an edge. Unbelievable.
Yep.
I think he scored 40-odd last week. It could be worse, cheapies, if you need it. That's the big news there. The bench looks disgusting with Luca Moretta, Jordan Samarani, and Matt Dory coming in onto the bench as well. For the Dolphins, there's a few interesting ones here. The back line, again, is pretty much untouched from previous weeks. It's in the forwards that we see a bit of movement. Kurt Donahue comes into the starting number 9. Connolly Lemalou comes into a number 12 position. The bench makeup of Ray Stone, Mark Duckles, Josh Kerr, and Sean O'Sullivan does look pretty damn strong, although I think that Sean O'Sullivan might even drop out for Keeley or another forward close to the game time. Any thoughts on this game, fellas?
Donahue in the hooking position is interesting. The long story short, for those that weren't quite in the know from last year, Donahue was actually the preferred hooker last year, and Plath started as Donahue got injured, I think the week before the season started, or he started at hooker for the first couple of rounds and then got injured or something like that, and then basically never returned. So Donahue can play. He is a hooker, or he's a very handy player in that position. So, yeah, look, he's absolutely one to watch. I can't imagine he's real expensive. I haven't checked out yet, but I certainly will during the show. But, yeah, he's certainly one to watch in the hooking position.
I think he's look, where it's quite interesting this week, and I won't be the only person this way. No Sandon Smith, no Peter Mam. A lot of people are running the combination of both of them at hooker, which means that they're going to have no hooker this week.
I've got Corey Pakes, which is basically the same as having no hooker, except he's going to end up on the field at some stage, get me 15 points, and then become my AE that drops out anyway.
Yeah,
I-
I've got no hooker this week either, but I've got a pretty strong 17 without my hooker, so I'm not too concerned.
Big Dickus, he's with us today. He says, "Let's go, Para." Yeah, good on you. I give them no chance here, I don't think. But anyway, they might. All right, they are playing at home. Big Ted says that he's joined us. The blokes look like they love Magic Round.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
we did. We had a ball, man.
It was awesome. How much fun was it? I'm sure we'll talk about that at the end, but how much fun was Magic Round? It was pretty awesome. If you haven't done it, yeah, what do they say? Do yourself a favor. Go and make sure you get tickets for next year.
Now, talking about Ted, this hooker problem, which is why Kurt Donahue becomes a possibility, particularly maybe a downgrade from a Peter Mam. But Ted's always gone with the theory, or he has over the last month, of having no hooker and just letting your flex be basically your hooker score. The double nuff effect. Well, a lot of us are going to have the double nuff this week with problems in the hooker. That's certainly one that we're all going to have to consider. Now, Hayden Boxall. G'day, Hayden. He's joined us before. Good to see you again, man. Do you think that Smith is a good replacement for Peter Moz? What do you reckon? I think you've got some pretty clear views on this, don't you, Ross?
Which Smith are you talking about?
Riley
Smith from the Eels.
God, I don't like it. Honestly, he's been playing 80 minutes. He hasn't been scoring that well. Doesn't really getting a lot of attacking stats either. I just feel like hooker is such a wasted position this year that honestly, Hayden, I would just nuff it out and use the cash elsewhere. I really would. You know, I mean, I'm not running a hooker this week, and I'm happy not to run a hooker this week. I mean, there is options there. I mean, I'd probably, if I'm going to do anything with hooker position, I'd probably look to bring McInnes in, if anything.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I don't mind the Donahue one only because he's going to have more extra time up his sleeve.
But is Jeremy Marshall King not playing?
No.
Right. But we don't know how long Marshall King's out for, so does it warrant a trade?
Well, they're definitely without Max Plath for 8 weeks.
But JMK can play 80 minutes at hooker if he's playing.
Yeah, but Donahue can also play the lock position.
Yeah,
shifting around there. There is minutes there for him.
Yeah.
So Hayden, in answer to your question, I'm not really convinced either.
Yeah.
The other thing with with Donahue is he's actually really versatile. He can play in certain positions in the back line as well. There is a bit of chat that maybe there's a left field option that he could even pick up fullback position for mental block for the Hammer when he goes to Origin instead of moving Herbie back there and then having to move somebody else into the centres. So there's a few moving parts there. There's a lot of positions that he could cover. Don't get me wrong, he might end up being a 14 that plays half a dozen different positions. But, he's certainly one to watch. But I don't know he's one that you'd want to go early on, but I'd certainly be watching him for a week.
I'll tell you what, if you've got big balls, go Donahue. That's what I reckon. He's cheap enough. And why it's a big balls play is the rumours are that he is possibly in line to play fullback. The reason these rumours are there is because he played fullback in the trials. And tell you what, he looked damn good doing it. So the theory is that when Hammer is out for Origin, etc., then Donahue is possibly going to become the replacement with no Trey Fuller. No Trey Fuller there. Big Ted said Desi Creek is on the double nuff train. He is. We could have actually, big shout out to Des. He was meant to be sitting with us and with us all weekend at Magic Round, but he actually ended up in hospital with a lurgy. So our thoughts are with you, Des. I hope you're getting well soon, and we'll hopefully you're going to bounce back nice and good. Biggest ticket says he's got a big balls, but not that big. It's probably right, mate.
Well, you want to say that, but then he brings in a bloke who hasn't even played a game of first grade yet last week.
Yeah, anyway. Sorry, my mouse went psycho on me just then and went past the next game at a rate of knots. Where are we going? All right. So next game is Knights versus Titans. Big news here. Jojo Fajita comes back into the side onto a wing. And Jaden Campbell is back at number 7 with Weaver dropping out with concussion. The other one I can see there is that there is no David Fafita. Word has come out today that he is seeking expert medical opinion and consultation on an ongoing ankle complaint. So that is now the official reason for him being left out.
I am going to dead set call BS on this. And the reason why I call BS on this is that he apparently told Des that he wanted to play on the same edge as Bo Firma. And Des said no. He goes, if you don't want to play on the other edge, you can go play for Ipswich Jets. So I don't know if this is just a media thing or whether it's actually legit.
I'm not certain either, but I will let that run with that's the official word now coming out of Titans is that he has an ongoing ankle issue. So no, David Fafita, if you haven't sold him yet, make sure you bloody well do. I tell you what, Newcastle are looking good for this game.
Oh, yeah.
Kalen Ponga is striking a bit of form. James Schiller on that wing, that side against the Titans have leaked more tries on that side, Schiller's side, than any other team this year. So, tip here is, if you've got a multi, James Schiller's the one you want to be on. And if you, again, another big balls play, James Schiller, I think, could have a Carraz-like weekend if it goes according to script. But as we know, NRL doesn't do that. What else have we got there? Jack Cocker.
Fletcher Sharp, brother.
Yeah, Fletcher Sharp.
I'm all over him this week. He's a lock-in for me. He comes in for me for Billy Smith this week. I think he's probably the number one trading target this week, Brad. I know we had our little interview with DVG up at Magic Round, and he bought him in and got about 130 odd. Most likely plays fullback too when Ponga's out for Origin. So at 640k, he's near probably the must-have of the round.
He certainly is one to keep a mighty fine eye on. Dylan Lucas,
killing it.
He is now starting to get up there, but he certainly is very also a popular bring in there. And I tell you what, just quietly, Kai Pearce-Paul is also producing a very nice run of form of late. I don't know if Cogger's back, but the Newcastle over this Origin period have got a very nice bye run. I wouldn't, and some really good matchups. So I wouldn't begrudge anybody from bringing in any of those Knights players. Timmy?
No, look, I'm probably looking at least bringing in 2 Knights this week. Probably 2 Knights and a Shark, I think, will be the plan at this stage. I've just got to make all the funds work. So, look, I don't think you can go wrong with just about anybody in that Knights team. They've looked really good over the last week or so, and I think that with the draw that they've got and the run going through the buys, I think you come up trumps if you grab a fistful.
Yeah, but the Knights aren't going that well yet, but they're starting to certainly look a lot better there.
I reckon just one more, Brad. Bradman Best, he's a massive pod too. If you want to Uber pod for this matchup, he'll be up against maybe Brian Kelly, I think, or possibly the other centre. He'll kill. I reckon he'll kill it this game. I reckon he'll turn up for sure again.
Origin worries me though, Roscoe. I'm just not convinced he doesn't get selected. He's proven himself before in that arena. I'd rather wait and see. I'm with you, but I'd rather wait and see.
Yeah.
Now, Timmy, have you got the team list up? Do you want to go through your beloved Broncos?
Not quite yet, but
it's all right. I can get going if you want.
You read through them, that'd be great.
All right. Well, Selwyn Cobbo obviously at the back at fullback. Again, the back line here, like the other teams we've mentioned so far, is pretty much stock standard for the Broncos. Into the forwards, Billy Walters retains the starting number 9 spot. Xavier Willison also retains the number 11. Jordan Ricky in at number 12. Pia Kura, which some people were wondering if he could get a few more minutes now. He's looking in a bit better form. is on the bench with Corey Pakes, Corey Jensen, and Fletcher Baker. For South Sydney, now, Biggest, you can come and tell us what you're thinking about this lot, Biggest. Latrell Mitchell returns to fullback. However, Bentley Hope does retain his spot on one wing, with Fletcher Myers on the other. Jaden Sullivan and one Jamie Humphreys has been named in the hooking, not in the hooking, sorry, in the number 7 role. I was expecting him to be named a hooker, but he didn't. So Jamie Humphreys is back. That's a very quick turnaround for that injury. I'd be a little bit worried here. I am a little bit worried. Yeah, so he was another...
Dickus did say that he was worried about him coming back from a soft tissue injury this early. So I certainly wouldn't be looking at him as an option for Supercoach. And it is a concern because there's been a few South players come back early from injuries, and we've seen what happened from that. So it is very much a definitely a concern. But I guess they're getting desperate though, right?
Yeah. Now Ewan Aiken takes the number 11 spot. The other edge goes to Tallis Duncan. That's 2 weeks in a row for Tallis Duncan to be named starting.
Yeah.
Lockie Hubner is number 13. He is a sell, but he's not a sell. If he's the biggest issue in your team, then you got a pretty bloody good team. He's still going to knock you 40 no matter what happens. So
where's Jai Arrow, Brad?
Well, that's a good question. Jai Arrow is number 8. He's in the prop.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because he played lock last week at Magic Round.
The bench is very middle dominated with Sean Kepi, David Mahal, and Liam LeBlanc, all on the bench. And
John Gray.
There's not really a lot of Havili is not going to really get spelled. I'm not sure who the hell is going to come on to maybe hooker. Maybe Jai Gray goes in a hooker. I don't know.
Yeah. My guess is that Jai Gray will go into the halves and Humphreys will probably play some hooker. That's my guess. But maybe Dickus can tell us what he thinks.
Yeah, it's a very hard one to get a read on. You know, it is. Okay. Biggest Dickus says his hubby is starting. Good on you, mate. Yeah, I didn't know you were married to him, but that's good. Basically, and he's made the comment, which is very valid, that last week's front row has dropped to the bench this week, which is
well, they were dominated by Newcastle forwards.
Yeah. Do you have much relevance in any of the Rabbitohs, Tim?
No, I've only got Hubner. That's the only one that I've invested in at all. I sort of was looking at Latrell like a lot of other people were over the last month since he's come back. But, yeah, look, he hasn't hit the heights yet that we'd like him to be, and it'll be a bit of a wide berth just on the off chance he picks up an origin spot.
No, he's got a monstrous BE at the moment, so really, crazy if you brought him in. Just sit on him and
it's like 160. It's like 160 or something ridiculous.
No, he's not. He's got a very cool BE. Anything more on that game, Ross?
No, not really. Timmy, just on Xavier Listen, did he cop an injury on the weekend that we missed because Piakura apparently played 80 minutes?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there, mate. I was quite surprised as well. Heard the same thing on the radio earlier. I don't know. I mean, obviously we were there watching it, but between the rain showers and whatever else, it was pretty easy to miss a few things like that. Yeah.
No, that's it. Obviously, Ezra Mam is back playing Q Cup this week, so I'd imagine he'll be back in that side soon. Don't know how the crowd will be about that after he got booed when they showed him on the screen at Magic Round.
Yeah. No, it'll be an interesting one to see what happens there. So, yeah, look, who knows?
Yeah.
All right. So
I'll just say one more thing. I expect Broncos to win this quite comfortably. I mean, honestly, Souths have been average, and Broncos are better than what they were at that game against the Panthers at Magic Round. Way better than that.
Yeah.
And Biggie Ted said Gray is a speed bump. He just about is sometimes. But he's just like Tuvey and Alfie Langer before him at about that height. He has courage that I necessarily don't have. So good luck to him. I've got to say that. Just about the game of the round, this one, a very Supercoach relevant game because we've got quite a few of these players, or we should have. Raiders versus the Bulldogs. For the Raiders, again, the back line very, very set and steady. Tamale and Savage retaining their winger roles. Apart from that, everybody's just still straight up. Quite interestingly, Corey Horsburgh has been named here. What's the go, Ross?
So he was upgraded to a Category 1 after the game. They have sought a clearance from the NRL, pending that. He'll be named for now, but if he doesn't clear it, then he's out. So it's an 11-day stand-down period or whatever it is. So because he was upgraded to Cat 1 after the game, it does have to be cleared by the NRL. So Cat 2. So it was ruled Cat 2, but after the game was upgraded to a Cat 1.
Yeah.
Certainly, look, Zach Hosking at number 15 is on the bench. You should be having a very close watch of Zach Hosking because over the Origin period, he'll probably play 6 straight starting games and is a dead set gun when he starts. We'll get him a bit discounted and he should be one. Everybody should be all over. But the news of Horsburgh now possibly playing, well, that sort of, that puts a dent in that one.
I'm still selling him. He's still a sell for me anyway, I reckon.
He is about the most popular sold at the moment, so quite unbelievably.
I think the fact that you can go him to Britton Nicker and actually make 15K or 20K, whatever it is, I think that's a pretty smart and fairly easy trade.
And also going to Lucas won't cost you much either.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So yeah.
Now the Bulldogs again for about the 4th straight game. The back line is completely untouched. Looks a fantastic back line there. Obviously, Jacob Carraz, a lot of super coaches are very high on him. He's around 30-40%, I think, at the moment in ownership. But, Matty Burton now returns to the team. In the forwards, Daniel Saluka for Fafita gets another starting position there, but we sort of pretty much know how this goes. He only plays about 20 minutes to 30 minutes anyway. He's the biggest dude on the earth, and yet he somehow does a Tony Williams run-up when he runs, which is F all for those people that remember Tony Williams.
Big old T-Rex.
A huge body, but just didn't quite know how to motor it.
Yeah.
Jacob Preston has been named there, Timmy. It's a bit scary, though, isn't it? He's trying to fight that judiciary charge.
Yeah, look, he's trying to fight the charge of 3 to 4 weeks. And let's be honest, even if he wins, unless they say that there was absolutely nothing wrong with the tackle whatsoever, which, let's be honest, that never happens. Best case scenario, he goes 2 to 3 weeks. Like if they fight it for a downgrade or something like that, I can't imagine it's something that's going to turn into a fine unless they've got some crazy evidence. I guess the thing that's going to go in his favour is the fact that things that you did a week ago would have got you 10 minutes in the bin and probably a few rounds, whereas stuff that happened this week just got glanced over by referees and were basically told that was okay. So I don't know. Who knows where the hell this thing's going to go these days?
I'll say it now. He won't get off, and he'll end up getting 4 weeks because they're very strict at the moment. So I don't see him getting a downgrade.
I find it. And they've named a 4-forward bench, which is quite interesting there.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure that Big Ted agrees with us. He said Preston is as guilty as F. And 4 weeks and an extra one for being dumb. Yeah, you're about right there, Ted. It's about where he's sort of sitting there. All right. So I think that's about all on that game, boys.
Yeah.
Whizzing through them. St. George versus the Warriors. The Warriors away from home just to worry their fans even further. Corey Allen retains his spot at the Dragons on the wing. And Lincoln King Togia is also being named once again at the number 7 jersey, following up his 90 points from last week. A mighty fine effort. Hamish Stewart as well has been named at lock again. I wish he did this earlier in the season when I friggin' owned him.
Yeah.
Now he's starting to go for a run. So, maybe I just sold him too early. I don't know. The interchange bench of DeBellin, Leilua, Loco, Pacifici, Tonga. How'd I go with that one?
He's making his debut off the bench.
Did I go okay with that name?
Yeah, sounds good. It's good enough to me, Brad.
All right, for the Warriors. What have we got here? DWZ makes a welcome return after about 9 weeks out of the game. That will really help them on that edge, which it looks like that Rocco Berry has dropped out. Kurt Capewell goes to the centre position, which will mean in the forwards that Halamasa and Nikokore will get the edge spots there. Mitch Barnett and Jackson Ford to both start at prop forward.
That's interesting.
It's not the strongest looking forward bunch up against some forwards for the Dragons who have been doing it well.
Yeah.
G'day to Magic Mike. He's joined us there. He's a Mad St. George fan. Thank you, Mikey, for joining
us. Sorry, Mike. Condolences, but up the Tigers.
What's that, sorry?
I said condolences, Mike, up the Tigers.
He's giving it to you, Mike. You would do the same. And someone else has come in with us, Teddy, and said that King Toga was a boss. Yes, he was. I reckon he is a trade-in at some point. Anybody else
traded? I think he's nearly number 1 traded in this week.
Do you reckon, Timmy, you're going to go him?
Tim's gone.
Tim's gone. Okay, all right.
He's going to get his pedicure.
What do you reckon? You reckon that King Togia?
Well, I'm going to bring him in this week. I am going to move on Billy Smith and also Horse, and I'm going to bring him and Fletcher Sharp in.
Yeah, good stuff.
So I've sold Billy Smith, moved Lucas up from centre wing to the second row, Dewey down to centre wing, and then bring in King Kong and then also Fletcher Sharp.
Yeah. All right, the last game on a Saturday night is this should also be a cracking match. The resurgent Panthers travelling up to Townsville to take on the Cowgirls. The back line looks the same again. Probably the big problem here is that Brian Toto has now been named for Penrith with, unfortunately, everybody's a favourite cheapie. Where's he gone to?
Tom Jenkins. On the bench.
At the moment, he's been named on the bench.
Yeah.
I can't see him running Brad Snyder and Tom Jenkins on the bench. That seems a bit crazy to me.
I would say that Luke Garner probably goes back to the bench or something, and then Jenkins will probably start at centre.
Yeah, it's a bit wild, isn't it? It's
yeah.
It's just not really making a lot of sense there.
No.
If he doesn't, he's a sell. But if he gets named to centre, I almost think he's a hold with that nice big score that he got last week.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's a bit crazy. Cheapie that a lot of people have got onto, Robert Derby has been named again for the Cowgirls. He's hanging in there. The rest of the back line is pretty stock standard and set. In their forwards, few people I've seen have been going Reece Robson, but don't forget he does have Origin looming up very quickly. John Bateman returns to an edge. Jeremy Nanai on the other edge with Sam McIntyre now in at lock. A little bit different there, but it certainly strengthens up their bench. Their bench is damn strong. Harrison Edwards, Thomas McKaylee, Griffin Neem, and Cohen Hess. Wow, that's a big bench, Ross.
decent bench. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
There's
Yeah.
there's some big timber there.
Yep.
Right. So, what are your thoughts in all of that?
Oh, I mean, guys like Purdue and obviously Drinky are going to score. Probably, have been great holds at the moment. Drinky's been a great trade in. As for the game itself, I actually think it's going to be a cracking game, Brad. I think it's going to be really close. I don't know which way to go with this. I was having a look at the tipping earlier, Brad, and this is a really hard game to pick. I know it's in New Zealand, in North Queensland, but Penrith are starting to hit some form, so I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough one, Brad.
No, it looks like a it looks like a good one. Marty says, "Good day, Marty. By the way, thanks for tuning in." Garner into centre for Jenkins seems a bit of a whack. Do you think at last minute switch happens?
Yeah, I
Which
think
you
it
sort
can.
of half answered
Yeah.
that. The
Yeah.
other switch there that can happen is that Papali'i has been named on an edge. Now, Papali'i might drop back with Garner going to the edge, Ross.
Yeah, that could happen too. Absolutely. Yep.
So there's about a three-way head bloody confusion there going on. I mean, I don't know which way it'll go.
Well, obviously we've got to take note too that there's only 2 games after this one, so Marty, you need to have your options open here. So obviously put the reserve on Jenkins, but you need to make sure you can swap it to someone who's playing after that.
All right, the Melbourne Storm are back home after coming up against Canberra and losing in that gripping game that concluded Magic Round. What a cracking game that was. Ryan Pappenhausen, obviously, at the back. Logo retains his spot on one wing. The centres, again, are pretty set with Anderson and Meaney. Bronson Garlick retains his spot at the number 9. If you're looking for a number 9, Bronson Garlick, Ross?
I think no, because I'm pretty sure Harry Grant was close to being back this week, but they want to give him one more week. He was very close to being named.
But then 2 weeks in Origin.
Yeah, their bye coverage is not great for the Storm, so I'm going to say no for that reason.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
Trent Loiero, after 3 elbows to the faces of players and a bit of a high shot to gives the game in the end to Canberra. He seems to be about the dumbest player running around in rugby league. He didn't learn too much very quickly on the weekend, did he?
I'm surprised that Bellamy has actually named him to start. To be honest with you, I thought he would. I thought he would have finding himself in Queensland Cup or something this week. After that,
yeah, it wasn't the most prettiest moment, that's for sure. All right, the old we used to call him Shit Stains has retained his spot on the wing for the Tigers, with Dewey and Naden in the centres. So he's managed to give himself another week there. What did you think of the Buller try last week, Roscoe?
yeah, well, far out. You know what I thought of it. We saw it, and I picked up my hat and threw it on the ground when I saw that they were going to score in half time. And then seeing that Jaden Sewer drop the ball over the line, then see Buller run 100 metres or whatever it was to score. It was absolutely beautiful, mate. That's all I've got to say.
There you go, Renee. We gave it a shout out. Renee told me I had to mention that incident on the podcast this weekend, so I have. Many thanks there, Renee. In the front row, Terrell May and Pole continue to do what they do. Talon De Silva is named on the bench. Happy Coruscant continues to be very consistent with the minutes he gets. Samuela Fainu and Alex Seaforth on the edges. It's all very stock standard there, isn't it, Ross?
Yeah, there's no changes there as far as I can see. Same. As you know, I'm a Tigers fan, but I expect Melbourne to dominate this one, especially with it being at Amy Park, Brad. I think everyone should be just about putting the captaincy on Pappenhausen for this game.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You would think that he would actually get some good points there. Our final game of the round brings up, this is a cracking way to finish the round too, 4 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon at Brookvale Oval. The Seagulls taking on the Sharks.
Yeah.
Sharks have been getting into a bit of winning form. The Seagulls coming off the back of a good win and a bit of a rest off from the bye last week. Lehi Opawati on one wing, Jason Sabo on the other, Cooler and Garrick in the centres, Tommy at the back. Now in the forwards, these are a little bit different because Jazz Tavega has been named in the 13. Ben Travojevic and the Oli Guacamole in on the edges. Takiaho and Jake T are on in the props. And Jake Simpkins retains his spot at hooker. Could play an awful lot of time there because the bench at the moment is Tommy Talau, Corey Waddell, Ethan Bullymore, and Nathan Brown. So no out favourites to take his spot there at hooker.
Just quietly on Jake Simpkins, I actually do like him as a bit of a smoky for hooker position. I know he's not cheap, but I do like it.
How long till Lachlan Croker?
We haven't got a date. We haven't got a date on Croker yet. This is the thing. It's nobody knows.
It is a bit confusing. It's not cut and dried. That's for certain.
No, but he's been out for the whole season nearly, hasn't he? Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, to me, if they're not coming back with a date, that tells me that they don't even know, which means it's obviously like it could be who knows when. You know what I mean?
For Cronulla, the back line is exactly the same as it has been last week. Kaeliro back in the number 4 position. Ronnie Mulatalo has been named on the wing. Maybe with Hero back, he starts to. Well, I was hoping last week that he would actually stay on his bloody wing, but he actually just drifted inside and played an awful lot of time. So it seems like a deliberate tactic there from the coach that the centres drift in and the centres go onto the wing and just have a bit of a breather. In the forwards, Aiden Fanua-Blake, he dead set looked busted last week, didn't he, Ross?
I think he copped an injury the game before, I think it was, and he didn't play many minutes, and no one's actually expecting him to be named. But, yeah, I think if you've got him, you've got to sell him, don't you, Brad?
Well, I wouldn't be buying him, let me put it that way. I mean, he's good buy coverage, but I wouldn't be buying him just yet. I'd wait and see. If he...
I just think if you can go to Nakora, who's an 80-minute edge forward, I feel like that's a better trade. I feel like it's a good trade. I don't think it's a sideways trade.
Yeah. Well, they've gone with 3 middles on their bench in Jesse Colquhoun, Hamilton Welly, and Tom Hazelton. So there's certainly plenty of room for AFB.
There's definitely not great minutes there then.
And Daniel Atkinson fills up the number 14 jersey there. But Cronulla are not a bad team to own over this bye period as well. What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, well, I've got Kale Hero. I've got a couple others in there as well, which I'm pretty happy with. So I'm happy to be running with that. So, I think they're a good team to be targeting for the bye period as well. In particular, I think Nakora is a good buy this week as well. Still very cheap.
Now, as Tahi, bro, g'day Tahi, by the way, thanks for tuning in. It's just pointed out, Jenkins does, going back to the other game, Jenkins does has a BE of 1. Yes, he does, but a BE of 1, if you only get 15 points, your cash increase is not huge.
Yeah.
Is it really holding on to him? That's what people have to ask themselves.
And then they'll make break even higher for the next game as well.
And a BE of 1 is not like a negative break. You know, 1, it's good, but it's, you're starting to, if you score badly. And Supercoach is about earning points. It's about beating your opponent by points. So you still need points. You don't need 15 points.
Yeah.
So if somebody's going to get a good winner, so if somebody's going to get a nice price, centre that is going to guarantee him 60 points as a trade for Jenkins, and if Jenkins definitely is coming off the bench, and I can't knock it. I'll be holding Jenkins. I'll be with you. Toey, and I do apologise if I mispronounced that, by the way. So that's that's about it. But thanks for that question, Tay, or that point. I get it. I'm holding him. I'll take the extra cash, but I've got other problems in which I've got to try to solve this week. As we said, a lot of people are going to have now. See, a lot of people have got around about 5 Roosters in their team. I've got 5. So if you've got 5 Roosters in your team, by the time you drop them out because they're having a bye, that means you only got 20 players to choose 18 players from. So as you can see, that's leaving it very tight. 20 out of 18, you don't have a lot extra. So people are going to be running a little bit tight and short this week. But some players have been quite used to that. All right, a couple of quick questions here, Roscoe. One from HM. G'day, H. Hey, boys, thoughts on getting Yo for Firma this week? Wanted to offload him before Origin as he's leaking money. Think about going Jenkins directly to Farmworth too. Not too sure. My quick thoughts on this, love the Jenkins to Farmworth. If you can do that, it's exactly what I was talking about a minute ago.
Yeah.
Yes, going to make a little bit of money, Jenkins, but yeah, Jesus, how good is Farmworth going? I mean, he's going to be just gold over the Origin period. A great number to have there.
I wouldn't be trading Isaiah Yo in for Firma though.
No.
Like Firma's got a negative break even again this week. They're both going to most likely play Origin. We already know Isaiah Yo's definitely going to play Origin.
Yeah, and there is certainly a lot of rumours around that Fermor is right in the mix for Origin as well. Quite probably a bench spot because he can play centre, he can play come on, he can even play a bit through the middle. So Fermor is very much in the running with Origin, particularly with some of the injuries, etc. David Fafita won't be playing Origin, so there's one that drops out instantly. Yeah, it's a bit risky. That's a real risky one. I couldn't recommend that. It's a 2-week play only. But I get what you mean about Yo. I get it. He actually hasn't been hitting the highs that he hit late last year. But he might be one just to hold and see if he does do exactly what he did last year and have a really good coming home. So, yeah. Your thoughts, Ross?
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing the first trade, but definitely the second trade.
Yeah. And Timmy's come in with exactly that same thought. Firma, highly likely bench spot at worst for Queensland. It just leaves you in about the same predicament. Mikey McGaw, Magic Mike, has come in with, what do you guys make of the whole Fafita thing situation? They're standing his ground. Well, as we said before, Mikey, the official word out of Titans is that it's an ongoing ankle predicament or position that Fafita is now seeking extra medical clarification about. That's the official word. Do we believe that? Well, Ross is definitely not a believer.
No.
I'm getting splinters up my backside by sitting on the fence. So I'm not really 100% sure if he's telling the truth there or not. That's a very hard one. All right, Ross, you want to is there any highly traded in or traded out players you quickly want to mention before we wrap up?
I think it's more just the King Tugger trade in. I mean, all of them, I haven't had a proper look at them, but they're all pretty much sort of stock standard as well. He's highly traded in, Bo Firma. There's people trading Robert Toya back in, which makes no sense considering they're on a buy. But other than that, I think it's pretty much stock standard this week, Brad. I mean, I'll put an article up this week like I usually do for my top 5 best buys, and I'll have a bit more of a chat about it in there. Probably try and get that up tonight on the page.
I was originally trading out Corey Horsburgh for Mitch Barnett. I like Barnett. His scores slowly are starting to increase, but I actually really don't like the look of that team this week. And the fact that Horsburgh is now being named might make me reverse that trade. And I'll try to fix up a few other little problems I've got, like my damn hooker. Something about it just doesn't sit right with me. I know Ted's going to slap me, but I just can't do the double enough or enough out of hooker.
Yeah.
But I do like, there's a couple there. Garlic and Donahue certainly stand out in my look this morning. Both of those two, I wouldn't say are going to be bad trades, particularly with Origin looming. I think Garlic will come into his own as a trade. All right. So, wait a minute. We've got another question coming in. Oh, God.
No, no idea. No idea. Go on to the thing and have a look, Timmy. That's all I can say. I don't know.
I would find a couple of dollars and go Farmworth every day of the week. Or hold it for a week and then bring in Garrick next week.
Yeah.
Stay away off him for the Cronulla matchup, but after that, Garrick has a lovely run over the Origin period. So, and he'll just about bottom out in price. And don't forget, like 4 or 5 weeks ago, he's 850,000, most expensive centre CTW in the game. So, he's going to be very discounted come next week after this week. So if you can hold it, and then shoot for Garrick next week. You're not going to regret that trade one little bit. No way.
Yeah. He's definitely for me next week.
Yeah. Oh, if you've got 500 grand there, hold it and save it for next week. Get Garrick in then. He'll do you good. All right, folks, we're a bit of a quick one today. This will be back on Spotify very shortly. I'll shoot it through to Ross. Many thanks for everybody for joining in, listening. Thank you to Wedgetail Golf. Thank you, Dan. We didn't catch up over Magic Round, unfortunately. Dan had other commitments, but we do appreciate all the support there. Thank you to everybody who came up and said hello. There was a stacks of people we said hello to. So, thank you very much for everybody for saying hello. A few people stopped me as I was walking around the concourse out of the blue. I don't know really who you were, but thank you very much for saying hello. I will say that. I wasn't being ignorant, probably just drunk. Ross, anything else?
No, that's it for me. We'll be back Sunday night with the round wrap.
Yeah, back to normal, back to the round wrap Sunday night. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.